Hey guys, this is the Fort Worth Glock Guy, and I thought I would do a little video on my Victorinox Swiss Army knife collection. Recently watched a video from It's a Wonderful Knife, and he did a similar video which got me thinking about my collection, and so I thought I would do a little update on mine. One other little addition I wanted to show you guys is actually a website that a buddy of mine named KnifeTex introduced me to, and that would be sakwiki.com. And this is a really cool website because anything you want to know about a Swiss Army knife, whether it be Victorinox or Winger, you can find out about it. And if you look over here, the way that they have this sorted is by model and by size. So if I wanted to find out what a 58 millimeter, which is the small, like little classic size, if I wanted to find out what model I had, because maybe I picked it up and I didn't know what it was, you can look at the way they have this sorted is by layer. So if I had a one layer, I would just click on that and it would pull up all the different models that were one layer, which is really kind of cool. And I had to do a little research on a couple of these knives because I didn't know what they were. So this website was very useful in finding out what a few of these knives were. So anyways, just wanted to share that with you, and then we'll move on to maybe why you tuned in to begin with. And this would be my Victorinox collection. Most of these are Victorinox. In fact, I only have one Winger, and it's over here. And I just was going through the collection because I looked at reviewing some of my previous videos. At the end of 2012, I did a video on my knife collection update, and I had about a dozen knives, and they were of various brands. And my collection has grown throughout this year. Just picking up a knife here and there. And I don't believe this. In fact, I know this is not all of my Victorinox. There are a few scattered around the house that I just either couldn't find or just didn't include in this little collection because they are redundant. I do have a lot of redundancy here. So anyways, this was my very first Victorinox knife, and this is the small Tinker. And I got this when I was in Boy Scouts a long time ago, and these are built to last, and this certainly has lasted throughout the years. So this is just your standard Tinker. It is the small version. This is the 84 millimeter. They do have a larger Tinker, which I believe is 91 millimeter. Very similar to what this is. And this is actually the Spartan. And what makes the Spartan different than the Tinker, couple things. Number one, this one has a corkscrew. And what makes this model unique is this blade right here, which is the serrated blade, which I think is really kind of cool and unique because this is the only serrated Victorinox blade that I have. And as you can see, it's fully serrated, and this blade works awesome. I really, really, really like this knife. So this one is definitely in my rotation. I use this pretty frequently. It's in my junk drawer, which actually gets used very frequently. I put it there for a reason because I do use it. I don't just throw it in there because it's junk. I put it in there because I want to know where it is at all times, and I do use it. This next model up is a 91 millimeter as well. And this one is called the Fisherman, and it's basically the same thing as the Tinker with an extra layer. And the extra, actually this has two extra layers. It has a fish scaler, which would explain the fish on the scale. And then it also has a pair of scissors, which these are really a nice pair of scissors. Very large pair, which I really like. There's another model similar to this, but instead of the scaler, fish scaler, it's got a saw, which is actually, I would think, a little bit more useful. And I believe that's called the Fieldmaster. I just picked this one up because I wanted this model with a pair of scissors, and I got this off of eBay for a pretty cheap price, so I just went ahead and picked that up. And then this is my largest Victorinox. This is the Deluxe Tinker, and this one has, in addition to the scissors, it also has a pair of pliers, which I don't necessarily think are a great pair of pliers, but for small tasks, it would work. I keep this in my computer in my drawer next to my computer. I figured, if there's some small little task, computer related, that would be perfect for that. And then this I've had for a while too, and in fact this is stamped 1998. This is my only Wenger, and I got this as an upgrade to my Tinker, since I've had this since I was a Boy Scout when I was young. When I got to college, I wanted something a little bit nicer, and I ended up picking this up, I believe at Target, just because it was on sale. And now this is a retired model. This is the 93 millimeter, and it's the Soldier or Soldat, and it's basically in perfect condition. It's got the awl, and then the rest of it is just your standard stuff, your blade, and then can opener tool and bottle opener tool. So it's just those two, and then what makes this unique is the baler on there. It's got, instead of a split ring, it's got that on there. And this is actually, I started carrying this around for a little bit just because I love the A-lock scales. And then my buddy Knife Tech said, hey man, you might want to put that on ice, because that's actually a collectible now. And so I did. And to replace this, since I do love the A-lock scales, I actually got two knives. I got these two, and these are, this one everybody has. This is the Cadet. I'm not going to go over everything on it because I think you know what the Cadet has on it. It's an awesome knife. It's basically just the Tinker with A-locks. And then this is the Pioneer, and I picked this one up because of the saw, and this thing works great. I love this knife. This, I've actually used that. I was parking downtown, and there was a small branch that was kind of hanging over where I was parking, and it was just small branch, so I just took this and I cut it off, mainly because it was scraping the roof of my car. And so I figured I'd do a public service and just cut that little branch off, and it just zipped right through it, no problems. These four are more of a collectible. These are all Cadets in obviously different colors, as you can see. The silver, red, black, and orange. I know the orange is pretty rare, so this is something that is just in my collection. I wanted a red one just because Victorinox you associate with red, so I picked that one up too, and then the black one just because it's cool looking. I like carrying the silver A-locks, mostly because it doesn't show wear. And let me show you. I've had this little classic for a long time, carried it for many, many years, and you can see some scratches along the edge, but it doesn't show wear. If it were painted like any of these others, the paint tends to wear off after a while. So that's kind of why I prefer just carrying the silver. And I will carry these silver ones on a daily basis. I just kind of rotate them out. The ones that are color are more for collector purpose. All of these over here are just your standard classic. This is your standard classic in black scales. And as we're most familiar, file, flathead, your penknife, your pair of scissors, and your toothpick and tweezers. What is different about the Alox is you don't have the toothpick and tweezers. There's just no room on it. But you can see how thin it is compared to your standard classic, which is why I really like the Alox scales, because they just drop in your pocket and you don't even realize it's there. And the reason I have two of these silver ones is because I carried this one around so much and I thought I lost it. So I went on eBay and I found a good deal on one and I ordered a new one. And by the time that this one got here, I found this one. It was in a pocket and it had just gotten washed. So now I have two, which is very cool. This one is obviously in a pink. I don't know if you can tell that. It almost looks maybe red, but it is pink. And this one is orange. And I wanted to get this one to match my Cadet, but actually these oranges are a little bit different. This one's a little bit lighter than this. But that's okay. They're just fun to collect. This one, as you can see, it's got a different, this is aluminum handle scales, but it's not textured. It's very smooth. And according to the SAK Wiki site, this one is called the Pocket Pal, and it is a discontinued model. And when I picked it up, it came in this little tiny sheath, just like that. And I think I paid $1 for it, just like a little pawn shop. And so I thought, well, it's $1, so there's nothing, you can't go wrong with that. And so I think I really lucked out on this one, since it is a discontinued model. And so I'm going to keep that right there in that little sheath, even though I don't think that sheath looks great. That's what it came in, so that's what I'm going to keep it in. We're all familiar with the classic, and I think these are great little knives to have. The reason I have so many of these is I just throw them in various bags. My work bag, my EDC bag is kind of my daddy diaper bag. I'll have one of these thrown in there too, just so if the need arises, I've always got a knife on me. This one is called the Rambler, and I did change out the scales on this. I bought a classic with red scales, or with black scales, and I switched it out just because I thought it would look cool. What's unique about the Rambler is this tool right here. It's got all the same tools as the classic, except it also has this additional tool, which is it's pretty handy. What I like most about it is the Phillips head that's on the end. It's magnetized, which I really like. I do wear glasses, so this comes in really handy. The cap lifter, it is functional, but it's not the best because it is kind of small, but it will get the job done if you need. So, and then this one is my signature light, and you can see that it's in silver tech, which I just thought it was kind of cool. It's basically your same classic design with 2 additional features on here. It's got a light, so if you push the little shield right here, the light comes on, which is handy. And it also has a pin. So if you really want to go minimalistic, you could take this one little EDC item and you've got a pen, a light, and a knife all in one, which I just thought was really a great idea. They do make an additional one similar to this with the Rambler tool on there. The Phillips head, it's called the Midnight Manager. That one's a pretty cool little design too. This one I picked up in a trade, and this is the Mini Champ. And I had no idea how many tools was going to be on this thing until I actually got it in hand and started playing with it. And it's just packed full of tools. It's the same size, again, as the Classic, but it has so many tools jam-packed in this. You can see it's real thick. It's got a pen. You can see that. It's got a couple different knives. That's the standard pen blade. It's got the Rambler tool on it. It's got a pair of scissors. And then on the other side, it has nail file, a small blade, secondary blade of some kind. It's got this, which I've heard described as two things: an orange peeler, and I've also like a package opener. And I can tell you, I've used this to open packages before, and it just slices through. And I could see where that could be good for peeling oranges as well, which I do think that is the intended use of that particular tool. So I guess you can consider that dual purpose. It's got a cuticle pusher, and there's one other tool on here too. Oh, no, I don't know if you can see that, if it's going to come out or not. It's got a tiny, tiny little ruler on there, and then of course your slotted screwdriver. So, and this one does have the tweezers, but no toothpick, because on the opposite side is the pen, which the pen just deploys by pushing this little slide up. The pen comes out and then back down. So that does come in handy. This is not one that I put in my pocket. I actually keep this in my backpack that I carry my computer in, just to have handy. And I believe that's pretty much the collection. If there's anything that I missed, feel free to make a comment below. If there's any particular model that you want a little bit more in-depth review on, please let me know. I do put these little lanyards on here on the ones that I use pretty regularly. The ones that don't have a little lanyard on it, I don't use them quite as much, so I don't put that on there. So the ones that have the lanyards, if you're curious, those are the ones that I do rotate in and out of my EDC, and you know, I use them frequently, so I put them on there just to ease of use, getting out of your pocket. And yeah, I believe that's it. As far as the sheaths go, I think this came with one of my Cadets when I ordered it, which is a pretty cool little way to keep the Cadets secure. I'm putting this orange one in here because I'm really trying to take care of this, because I know it's a little bit more rare. This one I picked up just at a local knife shop. I think it was maybe $6, and it's perfect for my Spartan, which is where I keep that one. And then this nice sheath came with my Deluxe, so I keep my Deluxe in there. So there are my sheaths, and there is my Victorinox collection. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll try to figure out how to respond to those comments, because with YouTube changing up some stuff, I'm still trying to figure that out, but I will do my best to get back with you. And if you want to see any more in-depth review of any of these, please let me know. Alright, thanks for watching. Fort Worth Glock Guy, out.